Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome all of you to the regular meeting of the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners here on September the 5th, 2024. We're going to begin our meeting today with a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Bessie. And before I ask you to stand, if you're able, I'd like to ask you to remember, we've had a lot of shooting tragedies, but particularly education schools are big ones, and I'd like you to remember the students and teachers in Winder, Georgia, that actually were killed yesterday with a shooter, and just keep their families and that community in your prayers during our moment of silence. Would you please stand if you're able? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Citizens who are interested in participating in the public session portion of the meeting, you may do so by calling 336-422-1200. You will be placed on hold until the public session begins. And members of the audience who are interested in participating in the public session portion of the meeting, you may fill out a speaker card and return to our clerk at the end of the dais here today. That does not impact those of you who may want to speak during our public hearings, which we have 2 today. Speaking of which, the first item on the agenda is a public hearing on the site plan amendment of Billy Rose Robertson Generation Skipping Trust, and Hugh Robertson and William Robertson wanting to change the use from residential building townhouse to residential building single family. And Chris Murphy, our Planning and Development Services Director, is going to give us a brief overview of that request. Again, you may begin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Madam Vice Chairman, members of the County Commissioners. This is a request to rezone 24.6 acres on the east side of South Main and the north side of Jones Road. It is a site plan amendment to change the design from a 118-unit townhome project to a 94-lot single-family PRD. Still remaining with the RM8S zoning, but because it is a site plan amendment, it is treated as a rezoning. This is a subject property shown on the Legacy Growth Management Area Plan map. The subject property is located in GMA 3 there, close to the southern end of the county, again along South Main Street and at the intersection of South Main and Jones Road. This is the subject property highlighted in yellow. Again, you see it does have frontage along both Jones Road and South Main Street, but it does not have frontage on the corner. This is the same, this is the property outlined in yellow on the countywide aerial imagery. Again, you see it is predominantly wooded, but it is small scrub type pines and some other vegetation that has come back, I believe, probably after farming. This is looking at the area plan. The South Suburban Area Plan update does recommend single-family residential 0 to 8 units per acre on this piece of property. Whenever it was rezoned for townhomes, that was considered somewhat consistent given the unit count of 0 to 8 units per acre. And again, this still falls within that, but they are looking to go from townhomes to single-family homes. And this is looking east at the subject property from South Main Street. This is looking north at the subject property from Jones Road. You see the zoning sign. This is looking north along South Main Street. The subject property is on the right-hand side of this image, again, where the zoning sign is located. This is looking south along South Main Street. The subject property is to the left. This is looking west along Jones Road. The subject property is to the right, so that is looking towards the South Main Street Jones Road intersection. And this is looking east along Jones Road. The subject property is to the left. This is the site plan, again, 118 townhomes to 94 single-family homes. One of the big changes in this design from the previous design is through some changes to the grading plan, they are not having to install a private lift station. This will the sewer will go into a gravity line there at the corner of Jones and Fishel and Main Street. There's a manhole in that general vicinity, and this will be gravity fed to that, so no private lift station will be needed. The request is consistent with the general recommendations of Legacy 2030 and the South Suburban Area Plan update. Again, the request would extend public sewer along South Main Street and would provide more growth opportunities in the serviceable land area. The request does have access to 2 roads with excess traffic capacity. Again, this was heard by the Planning Board at their July 11th, 2024 public hearing. There were no speakers in opposition, and following the public hearing, the Planning Board did unanimously recommend approval of this request to the Commissioners. And with that, I'm glad to answer any questions.
Any questions for Chris? Okay, thank you. This is a public hearing, and speakers will have up to 15 minutes in total to speak in favor of this request and up to 15 minutes in total to speak in opposition. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the petition? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the petition? I declare the public hearing closed. And Commissioner Wizenhut, do you have a motion?
I do. I move that the zoning map amendment F-1642, including site plan amendment and special use district permit, be approved on the basis of the following. The proposed site plan amendment as petitioned by Billy Rose Robertson, Generation Skipping Family Trust, Hugh Robertson and William Robertson Incorporated, for a 24.6 acre piece of property in a district zone RM8-S, residential single family, and planned residential development special use. It is consistent with the recommendations of the Legacy Comprehensive Plan and is reasonable and in the public interest because, number one, the proposed site plan amendment would change the site plan from 118 townhomes to a planned residential development containing 95 single-family homes. Number two, this proposed site plan is compatible with the current RM8-S zoning of the site and the recommendation of the Legacy Comprehensive Plan and the South Suburban Area Plan update. Number three, the site plan amendment would extend public sewer along South Main Street, which would provide more growth opportunities for neighboring properties. And number four, the site plan amendment is projected to increase traffic somewhat from the current site plan, but the site has access to 2 roads with excess traffic capacity.
I'll second that. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Second item on the agenda is a public hearing to consider the expenditure of county general funds for an economic development project and authorizing an agreement with Foster Cavanis Company Incorporated. And Hassani Mitchell, our Community and Economic Development Program Administrator, will give a brief overview of the request. Mr. Mitchell, you may begin.
Thanks.
You enabled it and it disabled.
There we go. Good afternoon, Commissioners, Mr. Chairman, Vice Chair. Pleasure to be before you all again. This item is for performance-based incentives to assist Foster Cabinets Company Incorporated with their expansion and location, into Forsyth County. As you all know, we briefed this item over the last two briefings under project code name Kohlrabi. And so today we'll just give some details around the company as well as the county's incentive package. It's already been stated, the company name is Foster Cabinets Company Incorporated. And Foster Cabinets is a produce wholesaler supporting the agricultural community throughout the larger Mid-Atlantic region. The company, they move large volumes of produce to growers and as well as retail establishments. They also serve local growers and importers, food service establishments, schools, prisons, and a myriad of organizations. The Forsyth County project, this would be a 165,000 square foot facility, which is located here in Winston-Salem in the Lowry Street area. The company is looking to add some additional ripening rooms, as well as additional lines for cutting and chopping and processing the produce. The company is considering other locations, and those locations include Columbia, South Carolina, as well as Charlotte, North Carolina. We take a look at the capital outlay. The company is proposing to invest an investment of $6,250,000, and that's divided into real property as well as machinery and equipment, and I've included an outlay of that capital investment. This investment would generate 165 new full-time jobs in our county. I think it's important to note that the company would be moving employees from Guilford County into Forsyth County, and so the total job count would exceed over 300 jobs, but the county would incentivize the new job creation in our county, which is at least 165 new full-time jobs. And those jobs have an average salary of $55,542 per year. I've included a snapshot of some examples of those jobs, and they include delivery drivers, selectors, operations management, warehouse associates, and et cetera. County's incentive package, this would be a standard 5-year incentive, and our incentive would not exceed $88,749. And like I said, that is a 5-year incentive. And I've included a snapshot of what the county we estimate to net in taxes over 10 years, which is just over $247,000 in taxes over 10 years. This is in the city of Winston-Salem, and so the city of Winston-Salem has proposed local incentives as well. The state of North Carolina, the Department of Commerce is also proposing a building reuse grant to assist with the upfits of the facility. And the North Carolina Community College Customized Training Program is also proposing value there. As far as workforce development, Foster Cabinets, they are involved in workforce development initiatives in Guilford County, and they are excited to involve themselves with all of our workforce development partners, including on-the-job training, a mix of office and warehouse positions, and then they also plan to share those job descriptions with workforce partners if this incentive package is approved. That concludes my presentation, but we also have representatives here from Greater Winston-Salem, Inc., Mr. Mark Owens, Ms. Ellis Kiefer, and then we also have the VP of Foster Cabinets, Mr. Keith Purvis is here as well, if you have any questions.
Any questions for Hassani or anyone else that he named? All righty. This is a public hearing, and speakers will have up to 15 minutes total to speak in favor of this request, up to 15 minutes total to speak in opposition. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this petition? Mr. Mark Owens, Winston-Salem Business, Inc. President is here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, Madam Manager, and members of the Commission. Thank you so much for the time. Mark Owens, 525 Vine Street. We're thrilled as Greater Winston-Salem Inc. to present this project. Foster Cabinets has identified Winston-Salem and Forsyth County as this potential site as they look to grow across the Mid-Atlantic region. Occupying an currently vacant building is also another key component to this, as you saw with the building reuse grant, to bring a building back to life that's specifically used in the produce space. We're trying to grow in our industry sectors and food and beverage, specifically distribution, and we have legacy companies here such as Combs and Vernon Produce that do a great job. And adding to that, another wonderful company in Foster Cavaness would just further solidify our community in the food and beverage space. The company has been incredible to work with, great partners, already reached out in workforces, as Mr. Mitchell has recognized. And these 305 jobs and $6.25 million of capital investment will provide new opportunities for the families and individuals and citizens of Forsyth County. So we ask that you please support this, and we give our support behind this project, and happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the petition? Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the petition? I declare the public hearing closed. Is there a motion?
So moved.
I have a motion approved by Commissioner Wizenhut. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner McDaniel. Any discussion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just briefly, when this was initially briefed to the commission without the company identifying factors attached, this looked like a pretty straightforward, this project results in substantial net new tax revenues for the area and brings substantial additional jobs to the county as well. I did hear later from one of our local companies who was expressing concerns about whether they would be facing unfair publicly subsidized competition. So I did make inquiries following up on that. I understand there have been discussions among the parties, and it is my understanding that this particular project request is more closely analogous to a new industrial production operation that provides the potential to bring net new investment and net new jobs to the area, as opposed to simply shuffling them around existing jobs and business activity, as would be the case, for example, if we're receiving an application for incentives from a new big box retail company. With that assurance that this is not likely to be displacing existing business, but is bringing new business in from outside, I'm happy to support the proposal.
Other discussion? All righty. All in favor, please raise your hand, please. Motion carries unanimously. And I would like to ask our Keith Purvis from Foster Cavaness if he would at least stand up. He is the VP of Added Services, I think, correct? Correct? Did I get that correct? Value Added Services. Thank you. Good. Thank you. Welcome to Forsyth County, and we look forward to having more conversations with you. So thank you. All right. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a resolution recognizing September 2024 as National Infant Mortality Awareness Month and support of the 13th Annual Walk a Mile to Save Our Babies in Forsyth County, North Carolina. And we have Sharita Sutton, Assistant Public Health Director, and Jasmine Harris, Coordinator of Health Services. I'd like to ask both of you and any other staff from the Public Health come forward. They're here to receive, we have several, great, nice group.
So I'll go down there.
They are here to receive that resolution, and our Vice Chair Wizenhut is going to actually read it, and she'll be down in just a moment, and there'll be a photo opportunity afterwards, so please remain.
This is a resolution recognizing September 2024 as National Infant Mortality Awareness Month in support of the 13th Annual Walk a Mile to Save Our Babies in Forsyth County. Whereas the month of September is National Infant Mortality Awareness Month, and it is imperative to increase community awareness about the high rates of infant deaths. Whereas Forsyth County communities are encouraged to support women and mothers-to-be to ensure their health and well-being and the health and well-being of their children. Whereas Walk a Mile to Save Our Babies will coincide with events across the nation to bring attention to high rates of infant mortality. Whereas in 2022, 40 Forsyth County infants died before their first birthday, and in 2021, 36 Forsyth County infants died before their first birthday. Whereas in 2022, Forsyth County infant mortality rate was 8.8 deaths per 1,000 live births and exceeded the statewide rate of 6.8. Whereas Forsyth County African American babies died disproportionately when compared to other babies, accounting for 51% of infant deaths in the most recent reporting year. Whereas prematurity and low birth rate, birth defects, sudden unexpected infant deaths, and unsafe sleep practices are significant contributors to infant death and disproportionately affect minority communities. Whereas the Forsyth County Infant Mortality Reduction Coalition has endeavored to foster a spirit of awareness and equality to combat the incidence of infant mortality and maternal morbidity. Now therefore be it resolved that the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners hereby recognize the month of September as Infant Mortality Awareness Month and supports the goals of the Forsyth County Infant Mortality Reduction Coalition's effort to raise awareness of the problem of infant mortality in our community with the 13th Annual Walk a Mile to Save Our Babies. Be it further resolved that the Forsyth County Board of Commissioners challenges all private and public entities to better understand their role in addressing the social, behavioral, and health factors that affect birth outcomes, and in so doing, protect and promote the health of Forsyth County's youngest and most vulnerable citizens. Adopted this 5th day of September, 2024.
I'll second that. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries
And I would
unanimously.
like to challenge all of our commissioners on September 26th from 9 to 12 to participate, and let's walk a mile for our babies.
Thank you. Thank all of you for what you do.
Thank you.
And if any of you'd like to say anything, you may, or you definitely want to get a picture of anything.
Nobody wants this. Do you want that? Okay.
So my name is Jasmine Harris. I coordinate the coalition, and I just want to say thank you for your continued support of the coalition and our work. And again, I will second Commissioner Wesenhunt. We hope to see you all walking a mile on September 26th. Thank you.
Thank you. If you all turn around, Todd can get a picture of you guys.
Joshua, you want that?
I believe you need to get in the back, Joshua. A little too tall there.
Thank you, ladies. Hope you'll have cool weather back there.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I want to thank all our staff and community partners that are involved in this. This is indeed wonderful work, and we thank you for doing it. In response to Commissioner Whitney's challenge, I'll note that because of a calendar error on my part, I was rushing over to join the march on August 26th.
Oh, no. I'm sorry.
And we'll look forward to coming back on September 26th.
Well, I will say, last year we had Chairman Martin, we had Tanya, and Mr. Bessie. and we all walked the mile. They get longer every year. I don't know who's in charge of trying to find, calculating the mile, but they get longer every year. Okay.
All right, thank you. The next item on the agenda is a resolution designating a Forsyth County official to make recommendations to the North Carolina ABC Commission on ABC permit applications. And you all may remember that back in December 2023, we made such a designation, and we, at that time, we designated then Major Henry Gray from the Forsyth County Sheriff's Department. He is now the Chief Deputy, and it's important that we amend our resolution to reflect that he is now, that Henry Gray is now the Chief Deputy and not the Major. So with that being said, is there a motion to approve that resolution? Motion approved by Commissioner McDaniel. Second by Commissioner Bessie. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. The next item on the agenda is a resolution acknowledging notice from Beeson's Crossroads Fire and Rescue of its intent to purchase capital property valued at over $10,000 and approving its purchase. And our Deputy County Manager, Kyle Haney, is going to give us a little update from our last session, and hopefully we can get that resolved so that we can get the truck purchased.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, Commissioners. So just as a reminder, Beeson's Crossroads sent a request to purchase a new fire truck to the county. Per their contract, the county has to authorize purchases over $10,000, and so it does require the county commissioner's approval. Beeson's was requesting to replace a 25-year-old fire engine and a 30-year-old rescue truck with a 1,000-gallon fire engine to reduce their annual fleet costs. In the original proposal, it was a $950,000 cost. Last week, I updated that Chief Hampton from Beeson's Crossroads indicated that they needed the truck that they originally looked at had been sold, so they needed up to $1 million. Chief Hampton in the last couple of weeks has notified me that that truck has also been sold, so now they are looking at up to $1,250,000. Chief Hampton's here, and he's going to let you know more details about what's occurred.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Vice Chairman, fellow commissioners. So as Mr. Haney stated, we've been looking at trucks now for a while, and the market has changed. They've gone, when we started this process a few months ago, they were $900,000, probably 18 months delivery time. Now we're looking at easily 1.1 million and over, and at least a 30 to 36 month delivery time. What I'm asking for is just to amend the initial letter that was sent that would state a cap of $1,250,000 just in case something changes, that I'm not having to come back for an extra $10,000, $5,000. So that is what the biggest adjustment from the last time we were here for the briefing 2 weeks ago. And if any questions you have, I'll be welcome to answer them.
Any questions for the chief? You got it. Yes?
Yes,
Mr.
I
Bass.
understand that you do have sufficient funds in your budget to cover the higher cost.
So as of right now, our goal is to manage that through our budget right now. But again, the truck won't be here for probably till at least June of '27. And that's the problem we're running into. All the departments throughout the country are running through changes between, it used to be a year to get them, now we're easily 3 years to get a truck. And at this current time, that is our game plan. But things obviously have changed in the last 3 months. But our game plan is to try to make it fit within that budget. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any other questions? All righty, all in favor? We'll see. We've had a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries unanimously.
We did.
Oh, we didn't do a motion list. I apologize for that. Got sidetracked with a question.
Mr. Chairman, whoever makes the motion, could you please specify an amount? Because as the deputy manager indicated, currently it says $1 million.
Yes.
So what was the amount?
$1,250,000.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, I make a motion for $1,250,000.
I'll second that. Any discussion? Again, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Have a good day.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the meeting of August 15th, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Or second?
Richard. Richard.
Oh, Richard. Second. Thank you, Richard. Commissioner Linville, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously. All right, Madam Clerk, do we have any callers or speaker cards?
Mr. Chairman, we have 2 speaker cards.
All righty.
The first speaker is Contessa Smith. Please come forward. State your name and address for the record, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Contessa Smith. I'm a resident of Forsyth County. I live at 3712 Foxton Drive. My issue today has nothing to do with anything that was on the agenda. However, I do want to raise issue to the commission about an issue that I am struggling with in the community right now with no result. On June 10th of this year and the 11th, I was incarcerated at Forsyth County Detention Center. And during my stay there, I was illegally restrained and abused by staff there. When I was discharged from the institution, I immediately filed a complaint with with Sheriff Kimbrough's administration about my complaints. I have not, with following up since then, have not heard anything. I believe that there's a reason for that because there is a prejudice and bias there. My thing is that when a citizen asks or makes a complaint, that it is your duty to follow up and actually give a resolution, whether it's one that someone wants to hear or not. I've had several contacts with several people in his office and am not able to get any answer. I have filed a complaint with the state as well. They left several bruises on my body, and I feel that I would like to have an investigation done by the commission board because I don't think that there was everyone held about my complaint. It has been very traumatic for me to deal with the things that I had to deal with in that jail. It was very nasty, very disgusting. It was very breaking to my mental health, regardless of why I was there. It was very traumatic. And then to get out and still be ignored with a very valid complaint is also hurtful as well. So with the things that have been going on, and not to go over my time, I do want to present the county manager with this information today and hope to get some type of resolution and answer because it's due. It's just, and I cannot keep going back and forth with a administration that will not comply and will not answer. So if I may.
Sure, please. I'd be happy to take a look into it and see if you get an answer to your complaint. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. May I approach? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Joanne Allen. Please come forward. State your name and address for the record.
Joanne Allen, P.O. Box 284, Winston-Salem 27102. Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a long time. Let me get straight into what I need to get into. First of all, let me say that I am so proud of Mr. John Brakey. Mr. John Brakey is the co-founder of Audit USA out of Maricopa, Arizona. He has done what no one across this country has been able to do, and that is within the next election, because it's coming across the states in America, they have finally passed an act by their General Assembly so that when you all, not us yet, but it's coming, when the residents of Arizona go to vote this year, guess what? They will be able to match their ballot votes with their scan votes. And some of you all know exactly what I'm talking about because we in 2010 exposed the election voting fraud here in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, where it was coming from the inside more so than the outside. So the federal government has given 3 years for all ballots to be held. So that means that even if they vote now, if everyone vote now, and there is no passed statute from the state of North Carolina, guess what? We still have 2-3 more years for it to pass because it is coming. Once Arizona passed it, then I guarantee you California and all the other states will pass it as well. And I'm telling you all this because some of you know especially what I'm saying. And that was actually readdressed by Vivian Burke, the former city council mayor pro tem of Winston-Salem, when she made the statement, oh, if I want to stay on the Winston-Salem city council for another 40 years, I can, because I've got someone who would keep me in office down here for another 40 years. I said all that to say this, beware, because it is coming. And if you all don't know what that is, I suggest every one of you all take a look at what passed in Arizona. My second thing, very quickly, is this. I detest with everything, and you all know me, when people lie to me, when people aren't truthful. We elect you all to do a job, and we, in turn, expect the people who work for the county to do their jobs as well. So all I can say is that we've got another maybe 15 days before we go public with something, and all I can say is that people need to come correct. They need to come correct. I'm not going to call a name today, but people need to come correct. And the very third thing, very quickly, is this, is the fact that we all take vacations. Some of us take vacations down in Myrtle Beach. Guess what? As I tell the city council people all the time, there's always a paper and people trail. I don't care if it goes back to 20 years ago. Understand what I'm talking about. So the things you've done, being transparent, trust me, we know. And we're talking about Myrtle Beach. So, good luck. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. No callers, correct? All right. I'm now turning the meeting over to our county manager. Go over our agenda items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good afternoon, Board, Commissioners, staff, and guests. We have several agenda items that have been briefed fully twice, and hopefully all questions have been answered. Agenda item number 8 is an amendment to the fiscal year 24-25 budget ordinance to transfer behavioral health funds for the Community Paramedicine Mobile Integrated Health Program to the Pandemic Response Special Revenue Fund. And then there's an amendment to the Pandemic Capital Projects Ordinance to appropriate a Duke Energy Foundation grant for interpretive signage. This grant was awarded in an amount of $25,000 with a required $10,000 county match. The match will come from the existing Blues Lake Park CPO funds.
Motion approved by Commissioner Bessie. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wizenhut. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 11 is an amendment to the 2016 Callidium Capital Projects Ordinance to appropriate funding from Callidium to restore elements removed from value engineering process. This agenda item appropriates $340,795 contribution from Callidium that was never appropriated to the Callidium CPO.
Is there a motion? Motion to approve by Commissioner McDaniel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wizenhut. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 12 is an amendment to the fiscal year 24-25 budget ordinance to appropriate fund balance for the King Fire Tax District. This agenda item appropriates $60,000 of fund balance to the King Volunteer Fire Department.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Linville. Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 13 is a resolution adopting a county community grant funding policy to aid in administering community grant funds for nonprofit organizations. Aisha Carter made updates to the policy based on your feedback at the last briefing. This policy will provide a roadmap for proper grants management, reporting, and monitoring.
Move approval.
Motion approved by Commissioner Vice Chair Wizenhut. Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just had one question. I think that I missed the opportunity to share my sentiments around the paragraph where it's Xed out the commissioners review and vote on recommending grants. And that's been discarded with now the recommendation from reviewed by the county manager and presented to us for their consideration. I'm on the right?
So essentially, I think there was an update from one of the commissioners, but it's essentially just saying that staff would make recommendations and you all would do the final approvals, just like you did for ARPA. I think it was just some language updates.
Yeah, I mean, just for me, I want to have a conversation around it. Sometimes when we're reading these things, it appears that it may have opportunities to trouble some others that will be trying to apply, make it more difficult, but I just wanted to make sure that we, at the end of the day, still have a mechanism there to protect those that we feel strongly about.
If I remember, actually, I kind of remember that session because I remember it was more of it's at the end of the process. I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of the advertising part that we want to do broadly.
That's kind of how
And we
I'm
want to,
doing that.
collect as many applications as possible. We announce the priorities that we're interested in, do all that. But then when all of that's collected and all that's done, then we're looking at staff review with some recommendations to us, and then it's up to us to make the final decisions, which could be for or against what the staff recommendations are. I'm misunderstanding,
No,
I
I
think,
just,
your
I saw
concern.
that portion there, and again, I wasn't here to comment on it, but I just wanted to share my sentiments around it. I'm okay, but I just wanted to ensure that's what I was reading.
Okay, all right, well, I think we're good on that.
Chair Martin, I do
Yes.
have a point just for clarification. The goals that are listed up under safety, health, education, cultural, economic opportunities. I think Chair Martin and I had some conversation about changing the written language create a community in which to live that is convenient and pleasant. And maybe that is going to be changed, but the version that I have still says what I think we asked to be changed.
And that was changed. I don't know if the update did not make it in the system, so apologies for that. We did make a change on that. I'm going to see if I can quickly find it.
I may be looking at the materials that we had from
Yeah, I
last
think-
Last time.
For me, mine shows that the enhancement of the quality for life for everyone. You don't have that one?
No.
Okay, that's fair enough. Is that the language?
Is that the,
I'm
I
looking
don't
for
have
it.
mine. in front of me.
Thank you. Ms. Carter's coming up to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, County Commissioners. The change was made. I'm not sure why it's not refreshing and showing up on the system, but I do have those changes here, but they are in the system. So these are,
Could you make it just a hair smaller? Yep,
thank you.
thank you. I think it's maybe at the bottom of that. Yes, there we are.
And I think the version that you guys have bullet points. I kind of updated so it's just easier to follow. But section policy, section B, policy B for cultural was changed to say create a community that enhances the quality of life for everyone. So that was changed, and all the other changes that you had mentioned were also changed as well.
I was going to say, could you,
It's not the language.
I wanted to
Stan.
look at that one.
Okay.
I just don't, I do remember quality of life being discussed during our discussion. I just, I didn't see the final. I mean, I don't have it in front of me. But
Right.
if you have a suggested change, we could do
I
that.
had it last week written. and I thought
Excuse
that
me.
I expressed it then, but I know that the quality of life for everyone, again, I don't think that it kind of defines cultural quality of life. I think there was another word or words that we utilized to accommodate that cultural piece. And I just don't think that expresses the goal appropriately, quality of life.
I almost remember looking up the word, we used this off the dictionary definition of cultural, maybe. Excuse me.
What else would you want it to say?
Based on the last meeting, I believe that was what we chose, that enhances the quality of life for everyone. And the first one was from the actual Forsyth County policy. That wording was from the policy, and this was the recommended from the board per the last meeting.
There's Webster's.
I think that there was, now that I see that definition, there was suggestion around that enhances the diversity of the entire community. There was something more inclusive about all of us that live here in Forsyth County, appreciating that diversity versus enhancing the quality of life. So I think the quality part doesn't really quantify, or it expresses cultural. It would seem like that's more of something from the health side than it is the cultural side.
It works. If the board all agrees they want that update, I am willing to make that change.
I'm very comfortable with the way it is stated, that enhances the quality of life for everyone. I mean, that's not leaving anybody out, I don't think.
I agree, Vice Chair Wizenhunt, that it does include everyone, but it doesn't specifically express, in my opinion, the cultural aspect of diverse backgrounds. And so the quality part. So when you say quality in reference to cultural, what was the kind of context, or how are you defining quality in connection to cultural?
This was the recommended language from the Board of Commissioners.
Okay.
I will say this, that I can agree that I admit that we won't be able to quantify quality if we were to come back. I mean, I would want to see that. So I would accept the recommendation for cultural, the wording to be added.
Maybe create a community that expresses the multicultural backgrounds of life. I won't even put life, of everyone in our community, something along those lines.
I looked a little, I'll throw this out, I looked a little further in this is from the great source of Wikipedia, that wants to raise some more money, but anyway, that enhances the knowledge, in other words, to create a community that enhances the knowledge, beliefs, arts, and customs of Forsyth County citizens. That's a kind of a slightly different, which is getting more of what you're talking about.
I agree with that.
Can you repeat that one more time, just so we can?
I'll read it, and everybody can, we could postpone this and digest it another time, but basically it says, create a community that enhances the knowledge, beliefs, arts, and customs of the citizens in Forsyth County. I think that's where we can go to everyone, because we're not saying Forsyth County, for everyone, or of everyone.
I think that comes from the Gandhi Foundation, what you're parroting there.
It does have a footnote, by the way.
Okay, so we can, if
It comes from Tyler Edwards from Primitive
commissioners
Culture.
are amenable, we certainly can edit that to that language, create a community that enhances the knowledge, beliefs, arts, and customs of all citizens, or of everyone.
Yes.
Which one? Of all citizens, or of everyone?
Everyone.
Everyone.
By the way, the citation was from 1871.
I make a motion that we continue this item to the next meeting.
I'll second that. Any discussion, further discussion? Yes,
Just,
Commissioner
I was looking to see whether there had been any specific, I'm good with the motion, by the way, but one other question I have regarding the content. I remember making a suggestion last time that that staff review the requesting organization's experience with carrying out programs of the kind that it is requesting funding, so that we can take into account whether an applicant organization basically knows how to do what they're talking about.
Yes, sir. And that's number 6 that she put up on the Elmo. Again, apologies if it is not updated in the system. It says we added summary of applicant's experience level with the proposed program or service to provide, including key achievements and milestones with specific quantitative outcomes, as well as the impact of the target audience supported by quantitative data. It's in front of you in your
I'm sorry.
monitor.
Let me see if that,
And can we go back to so while we're discussing, I know that we have a motion on the floor, but while we are, I just wanted to look
Yeah,
back at that
that-
other one, because I don't think mine's updated as well.
We have a motion and a second to continue this to the next meeting. We've had several other suggestions. We can look at it again. Any further discussion?
yeah, I just would confirm that the language that is shown does accomplish what I was asking about, and it is not it's one of the changes that didn't make it to the.
We will make sure you all get another copy and that it is updated in the system. Apologies.
Are we
Thank you.
saying that this is going to be put back for discussion, right?
Yes, we're coming back in
Next
2
briefing.
weeks.
We have-
We're
Okay,
we're
fair enough.
postponing.
All right.
So all we're doing is acting on
I
postponement.
just wanted to be
No,
sure.
no, perfect. All in favor, please raise your hand.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, agenda item number 14 is a resolution authorizing execution of an amendment to the agreement between Community Care Center for Forsyth County to hire 2 full-time staff to expand behavioral health services using ARPA funds. Community Care Center was awarded $431,142 of ARPA funds. This is a no-cost extension through June 30th, 2026 to allow them more time to complete the project.
Move to approve.
Motion approved by Commissioner McDaniel,
Second.
second by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 15 is a resolution authorizing an amendment to the agreement with Wake Forest University Health Sciences on behalf of its Department of Medicine for Medical Director Services. And Part B is an amendment to the fiscal year 24-25 budget ordinance to appropriate $14,834 of reserved behavioral health services fund balance for added mobile integrated healthcare services. This adds an additional 8 hours per month of medical director oversight for a period of 10 months while the mobile integrated health team implements protocols and processes related to post-overdose response and response to community-based behavioral health crisis.
Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Approved by Commissioner McDaniel, second by, thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 16 is a resolution authorizing execution of an amendment to the agreement between Forsyth County and Vincent Valuations LLC for real estate appraisal services. This increases the not-to-exceed amount by an additional $265,200 for a total contract not to exceed $440,200 to ensure we are prepared for reevaluations.
Is there a motion?
move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Linville.
Second.
We have a second by Vice Chair Wizenhut and Commissioner Bessie. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 17 is a resolution approving the renewal of DocuSign Enterprise Electronic Digital Signature Services. This is a 3-year contract in an amount not to exceed $128,100, and it is a state contract.
Move approval.
Motion approved by Commissioner Bessie. I'll be happy to second that. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 18 is a resolution authorizing an amendment to the agreement with Axon Enterprise, Inc. for law enforcement body-worn cameras, in-vehicle cameras, tasers, and related services. This is to add equipment for the rural hall deputy and detention officers. The annual cost increase is $42,137.19.
Motion.
Move approval.
Approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Second. Seconded by Commissioner Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 19 is a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Perkinson Law Firm for lobbying services at the North Carolina General Assembly in an amount not to exceed $60,000. And I did talk with Ms. Perkinson in regards to reevaluating her contract for next year.
Move approval.
Motion approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion?
I do have a question for clarity around the conversation, County Manager Robinson, that you had with this firm. Is this in regards to, well, what is it? What did you have conversation with her about?
In our last briefing, I think Ms. Wizenhunt and Chair Martin had asked whether or not we should reevaluate the way in which we are paying her for short sessions and long sessions. And so that's something that we'll discuss in her next contract period to see if we need to adjust accordingly.
We have a long session this time, so I can
Correct.
feel comfortable this time. Yes. Any other discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda item number 20 is a resolution authorizing execution of an art loan agreement to Old Salem Incorporated, doing business as Old Salem Museums and Gardens. This allows them to use the bust of Bishop Spangenberg and plaque on a pedestal from the vacated Hall of Justice building.
We have a motion. Motion approved by Commissioner Bessie.
Second.
Second by Commissioner McDaniel. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda items number 21 and 22 are resolutions approving refunds by the tax assessor and collector. 21 is in the amount of $958.72, and 22 is in the amount of $21,680.30. We can take both together.
You happy to make that motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Linville. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
Agenda items number 23 and 24 are reports. 23 is the July 2024 contribution-based benefit cap report, and 24 is the fuel surcharge franchise report, and we can take both together.
Your motion.
Move approval.
Motion's approved by Vice Chair Wizenhut. Second by Commissioner Bessie. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion carries unanimously.
That is all I have for the meeting, Mr. Chairman.
All righty. We will adjourn the meeting, and are we ready to jump into the, for adjourn? Regular meeting on September 19th, 2024. We have no discussion items to review today, so I'll turn over the proposed items for September 19th to the county manager.
Okay, these are items for consideration for the September 19th meeting, and I'll just briefly introduce each item. We will have two special resolutions. The first one is a proclamation recognizing September 20th, 2024 as Smart Start of Forsyth County Day in Forsyth County, North Carolina. Two is a resolution delegating approval authority of volunteer fire department requests to purchase, lease, construct, design, finance, mortgage, or enter into any contract for the acquisition or disposition of capital property under $50,000 to the county manager. Three are our meeting minutes from today, which will get sent out in a few days. And then we have several budget finance items. Number 4 will be a resolution authorizing the appropriation of interest earnings in the Pandemic Response Special Revenue Fund and transfer to the general fund to aid in the development of the community grants program. B is an amendment to the Pandemic Response Special Revenue Fund to appropriate interest earnings and transfers to the general fund. And then Part C is an amendment to the fiscal year 24-25 budget ordinance to appropriate $78,000 from the Pandemic Response Special Revenue Fund to aid in the development of the community grants program. This is essentially to allow us to be able to implement the community grants policy that we just continued today. Number 5 is an adoption of the 25 Housing Grants Project Ordinance. 6 is an amendment to the 2020 Radio System Upgrade Capital Projects Ordinance to accept a transfer from the general fund for radios for the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Schools. 7 is an amendment to the 2016 Schools Capital Projects Ordinance for East Forsyth High School. 8 is a resolution to direct the FY25 expenditures of opioid settlement funds to amended strategies. 9 is an amendment to the fiscal year 25 budget ordinance to appropriate $1,112,080 from the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services for Agreement Addendum 716 for the COVID-19 vaccination program. 10 is an amendment to the fiscal year 25 budget ordinance to appropriate $1,008,877 from DHHS for Agreement Addendum 117, which is Public Health Infrastructure Local Workforce Development Program. 11 is an amendment to the fiscal year 25 budget ordinance to reconcile the medication assisted treatment grant in the Sheriff's Office budget. Then we have several grants items. 12 will be a resolution ratifying a contract between Forsyth County Department and the North Carolina Department of Public Safety and Youth Collaborative for Youth Intensive Intervention Services from Project X. And then there's an associated amendment to the FY25 budget ordinance. We have agenda item number 13. It's a resolution authorizing execution of a service subscription agreement with True IP Solutions LLC to provide hosted voice services. 14 is a resolution ratifying and authorizing execution of an interlocal agreement between Forsyth County, City of Winston-Salem, and Town of Kernersville regarding the shared use of the North Carolina Governor's Highway Safety Program Traffic Safety Project Grant Award for the continuation of the Forsyth County DWI Joint Task Force, and then a resolution ratifying and authorizing execution of the agreement. Number 15 is a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Owen G. Dunn Company, doing business as Print Elect, for the purchase of toner consumables for the election system and software for ballot on-demand printers. And 16 is a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with the Board of Elections and Owen G. Dunn Company, again, for the purchase of replacement batteries for their precinct tabulators and express vote ballot marking devices. 17 is a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with I3 Verticals LLC for website and operating system administration and maintenance. 18, a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with Custom Data Processing to provide software, record keeping, and workflow system services to the Department of Public Health, their Environmental Health Division. 19 is a resolution authorizing execution of an agreement with NeuroAgile Leadership and Workforce Consulting, doing business as Allies for Outcomes, to provide consulting services for DSS Child Welfare System. 20 is a resolution authorizing an interlocal agreement with the Winston-Salem Forsyth County Utility Commission for the Rural Ohio Highway 65 project. 21 is a resolution authorizing a second amendment to the agreement between Forsyth County and Seth Palmater, doing business as Motivated Metal. And 22 is a resolution adopting the county boundary between Forsyth County and Guilford County as surveyed by the North Carolina Geodetic Survey. 23 is a resolution authorizing execution of an amendment to the lease agreement between Forsyth County and North Carolina Baptist Hospital for the lease of the property located at 501 North Cleveland Avenue, which is our dental clinic. And then we have several appointments, and those appointment applications close this Monday. And then we have a refund from the tax assessor and collector, and then a resolution acknowledging the submission of the proposed 25 schedules of values, standards, and rules for the reappraisal of real property, and that really starts kicking off our reappraisal process. And then we have reports, and then we will have one added item, and that's for you all to consider approval of the King Fire Station.
Your speed reading is impressive.
Thank you.
It was good. Okay, yes, Commissioner Bessie.
Quick question regarding the appointments. Do we have an update on whether we've got enough applications to? I'm sorry.
I was looking at Madam Clerk. She would know about the applications. Did you hear the question?
What is the
I'm
question,
sorry.
Commissioner Bessie? I'm sorry.
Do we have an update on which of these available seats have insufficient applications for us to consider?
I can get that to you right off the top of my head. There are several that are on this list that have 0 applicants.
And this would be, did you say that the deadline closes this coming Monday?
That is correct.
Monday at 5 p.m. So I can get that list to you today.
Thank you.
All All righty. Anything else for the good of the order? I think we're ready to adjourn promptly. Gosh, early. Stand adjourned.